One cannot change the world without the ambition to conquer it, without the cunning to utilize its resources, or without the vision to reshape it in their image. These are the traits of the color black, the most balanced color in all of Magic. My name is Sir Lord, and today we're going to embark on our journey to create a Magic the Gathering set, beginning with our look into the color black and how it applies to Magic. So we're going to look at the strengths, weaknesses, and philosophy, as well as places for expansion in the color black today. I hope with this video, at the end of it, you'll have a decent understanding of what I see as black's main strengths and weaknesses, and places to use black, or like what black is meant to do. Now keep in mind, this isn't going to be 100% comprehensive. I'm not going to go over every little minute detail of black. That would require an extremely long time, about an hour or so, I would think. So today we're just going to go over the core assets of black, and let's get started with that by looking at black's philosophy. Black is the color of ambition and drive. It is also the color of amorality, meaning that it is willing to do whatever it can to achieve its goals. And this means quite literally anything. Want to gain power from a demonic god? Go for it. You don't need that soul of yours. How about sacrificing your friend Steve to gain some treasure? Fair game. He stole your bagel this morning. Black is all about making these deals and trades in order to achieve its goals. That is why black has so many cards with downsides to them. Black is a color of trade and resource management. But that is not the only defining feature of black. It is also a color about knowledge of the dark arts, the taboo, if you will. To black, anything is fair game, and any advantage you can find should be used against your opponents. Anything is fair game. Now, don't let that lead you to the common misconception that black is the color of evil. This is not true. Black is the color of amorality, which means that there's no limits to what they can and cannot do. They have no morals, lack of morals. That means that exploiting someone else is just fair game. There is no moral high ground. Whatever you can to get ahead, use it. Now, there have been examples of good characters, or quote-unquote good characters in the Magic the Gathering universe as black, and there's also been bad characters as black. You kind of have to take it on a case-by-case basis and judge it with your own morals. But to those who are willing to go the distance, black is the color for you. With the philosophy of black out of the way, let's look and see how black uses this philosophy in order to create gameplay strengths and ask the question, what is black good at? So black as a color is extremely versatile. Part of their dogma of just anything at any cost means that they are a versatile color. They can pretty much do just about any action in the game, but most of the time it comes at a very high cost, depending on how close or far away it is from its usual dealings. Anything is a resource for black, so library, graveyard, hand, creatures, you name it, black can pretty much use it to its fullest advantage. And one of the greatest strengths of a cunning black player is turning any of these costs into an additional advantage. So for instance, let's look at Death Shadow, right? Death Shadow is a 1 black 13/13 that loses strength based on how much life you have. The Cunning Black Mage will play a bunch of cards to lower their life total in order to enable this extremely cost-efficient and powerful card. Many successful decks can take this idea, but in different directions. Milling yourself to reanimate. You also have hand disruption. You have many different avenues to express your skill in black. You also just have an extremely high amount of tools because, like I said, you can do just about anything in black. Most of it is up to you and what you are trying to do or what your goal is. Black has the tools. You just need to be cunning or smart enough to take advantage of it. You have to have the ambition, which plays very well into their themes and gameplay loop. This is kind of what leads me to believe that black is one of the best designed colors, because everything goes back to their primary goal of ambition. Everything leads into their themes, and out of all the colors, I think black is the most thematic, balanced, and skill expressive color without shunning or pushing people away. You can definitely do that in black, but it's nowhere near the only thing black can do. That's kind of why I wanted to cover them first. Let's move on to black's weaknesses now. Its versatility comes at a price, since black is in a constant state of resource management. Being starved of a resource makes the cards being used very difficult in certain matchups. For instance, in the Death Shadow matchup I was talking about earlier, if you are going against a burn player, there's a harsh restriction on your life points for the Death Shadow player. They have to constantly be aware of what their life total is, how low they can go, and it creates a interesting game of cat and mouse for both players. These are the kind of weaknesses black has to worry about. And this goes through any kind of black deck. Your graveyard gets destroyed, that sucks if you're playing like Dredge or anything like that. Black's weaknesses are its strength, and I believe that is one of the coolest and most beautiful parts of the color. It's also why I believe it is the most well-designed color as well, because both players usually get to play the game. Sure, it's black's game, but you're still playing the game. You can do many things in order to counteract the black strategy, i.e. holding up your burn spells against Death Shadows, for instance. If you're going up against something more along the lines of a discard-based deck, holding your extra cards so you can use those as discard fodder so you can keep your good or impactful cards that'll keep you ahead in the matchup. These are the kind of the things that makes black such an interesting and fan-beloved color throughout the entire Magic the Gathering community. There are some other weaknesses, like they have extremely poor enchantment removal, and I don't believe they can get rid of artifacts, but for me, they're not the defining weakness of black. No. These are just kind of gaps in their abilities, but being resource intensive is the true weakness of black. Alright, and now we're going to talk about expansion. If I think black is in such a good place, why would I want to expand on the color? Well, one, this is an ongoing game. You gotta constantly be introducing new ideas in order to keep the flow of the game going. I think black has done a phenomenal job of it, and it usually innovates in unique ways, so I'm gonna keep it kind of to a minimum, but there's a couple ideas I have in order to add to black. So the first being, I do believe that there are certain mechanics that can be put into black, i.e. stealing creatures or even artifacts or enchantments. I think that would be a healthier way for black to be able to deal with artifacts or enchantments if Wizards is going to push them to be able to deal with them more. The reason being is if black is going to try its hardest to fulfill its ambition, sometimes that means manipulating others to do what you need them to do. I've always thought it weird that blue is the only one that can do it for permanent, that is. That can only manipulate people permanently, while red can do it temporarily. But black seemed very, very poised to be able to manipulate people into doing what they need for their own game. It's kind of like a lot of the advisors are black. They have power, but it's not because they themselves have power. It's because they're in a spot to usurp someone else's power. And I think that you can actually display that with black cards in addition to the blue cards. As well as that, I think giving black a couple more interesting payoff cards could be a cool way to do it. I don't mean like insta-win cards, so like you could give them cards like similar to Visions of Beyond, where you get a extremely powerful effect for fulfilling certain conditions. We have a couple of those, like Cabal Ritual, for instance. But I think giving them a couple more obtuse ones to really incentivize players to come or be creative with their decks. Because that's kind of what black is very good at. It's very good at forcing players to be creative in how they build and play specific decks. Like, you won't see black decks play like any other deck in the game. And that's part of why so many people enjoy playing the color black. Those are a couple of things that I would like to add to it, but like I said, black is doing great right now. It's very interesting color to play, and many people enjoy playing it, so I don't think we need to go hard into any of these. I didn't in my set, but it is something to keep in mind for the future if I do keep doing more of these. And with that being said, this is my analysis on the color black in Magic the Gathering. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I could at least also give you a good insight into my ideas of the color, and hopefully that'll help with your understanding of my decisions in the videos coming in the future, where I actually go over the set itself. I wanted to give some examples of cards, but we already had to cover a lot of information today, so I wanted to keep it somewhat brief. I know it's still like over 15 minutes or so of a video, but hey, we gotta start somewhere. Let me know what I may have left out or different opinions on how you see the color black. Maybe you see something in it that I don't. Keep in mind, I did leave some stuff out. I know I left a lot of the zombie stuff out, or tribal stuff. I'm not going to be focusing on that too hard in these videos, because this set isn't much of a tribe set. So my name has been Sir Lord. Join me next week when we tackle the color of red, the color of freedom. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.